think of quitting trading? That day when your stop loss hit again, and you closed the screen, telling yourself, maybe this isn't for me. But then, without telling anyone, the very next day, you opened the charts again. Why? Because deep down, you still believed you could do it. But every time there's a loss, self-doubt creeps in. Is it my fault or just bad luck? Losing in trading isn't just about money. Hope shatters, confidence plummets, and a voice says, "Give up, you can't do this." But this is where the real battle begins. And it's this battle that the world's most experienced trading coach, Steenbarger, unmasks. He clearly states one thing. The market is not your enemy. Your reactions to the market are. And this is where this journey begins. A journey that will change your mindset more than your charts. Today, we are going to learn the 10 secret principles of the art of trading, without understanding which no trending system, no strategy can last. These are the principles that Brett hasn't just written in books but has lived by, transforming the lives of hundreds of professional traders. These principles don't talk about charts, indicators, or patterns. They talk about your mind, your fears, and your identity. If you are tired of losing, if you have lost faith in yourself, then perhaps these 10 principles have come to reunite you with yourself. But beware, these are not ordinary principles. Neglecting even one of them might prevent your trading journey from ever reaching millions. Because these are not 10 principles, but 10 locks, and each principle is the key to the next lock. If you lose one key, the door might never open. That's why you must listen to this audio till the end. Because today you might learn something that no one has ever taught you. So friends, the first and most important principle of the art of trading is, know thyself. This sounds easy, but this is the link that 90% of traders never understand. And believe me, until you understand yourself, no indicator, no strategy, no guru can help you. Steenbarger wrote somewhere, the most successful traders don't just master markets, they master themselves. And this is the difference between an average trader and a master trader. Now, the question is, what does it mean to understand yourself? It means knowing when you panic, when you get greedy quickly, when your mind is calm, and when it catches fire. Because the market doesn't bring you down. Your old habits, which you repeat daily without knowing, bring you down. If you don't ask yourself while placing a trade, why am I taking this trade? Is this my setup or my emotion? Then truly, you are not losing to the market but to your habits. Brett says, inconsistent traders often lack self-awareness. They think it's the market, but it's usually themselves. Now think, how many times have you planned a brilliant trade, but when the real moment came, you broke the plan? Why? Because fear crept in, or greed spoke up, or listening to someone else's opinion shook your confidence. This is where self-awareness comes into play. A good trader scans himself before trading. How's my mood today? Am I under any stress? Am I trading out of revenge? Because Brett said, your emotional state becomes your trading state. This means if you are broken inside, no matter how many strategies you have outside, you will slip. Therefore, the first principle says, read yourself before reading the charts. And reading yourself is not a one-day task. It's a ritual, a practice you must do before every trade. How? Keep a journal. After every trade, note what you felt at that moment. Write down both your losses and wins. It will feel bitter, but this will be your true mirror. Brett says, traders who journal their thoughts become traders who understand their patterns. And one who understands their patterns can break them. Remember, the biggest setup in the market isn't a chart. It's the person sitting in front of the screen. It's you. Because if you don't know yourself, every trade will be a guess. And if you understand yourself, every trade can become a step towards that goal you once quietly dreamed of. This principle teaches you, you need to befriend yourself before trading. And when you understand your mind, your mood, your madness, then you can hear the market's voice without noise. Because the true trading edge is hidden in your calm thinking. And friend, if this sinks into your heart today, you've already won half the trading game. But this is just the beginning. Because the principle that's coming next will close your eyes but open your mind. A principle for every person who measures their self-worth by looking at their P&L every day. That principle will teach you what it means to love the process, not the profit. So be ready. The next principle can change the way you think. So friends, now it's time for the second principle of the art of trading, one that breaks thousands of traders every day from the inside, but very few understand its true reason. This principle says, embrace the process, not the outcome. Or, as Steenbarger puts it, when your focus is on outcomes, emotions take over. When your focus is on process, mastery begins. Now think, have you ever noticed? One day you made good money, and your mood was over the moon. Then the next day, same strategy, same setup, but this time a loss, and suddenly your entire confidence was shaken. Why? Because you started determining your mood, your energy, your value based on profit. But remember, my friend, profit is your goal, but process is your path. And if the path is wrong, even if you reach the destination one day, you won't be able to stay there. Brett says, chasing profits leads to chasing trades, but mastering process leads to becoming a trader worth following. Now understand the difference. A trader chasing profits asks only one question every day. How much did I earn today? Whereas a trader living by the process asks, did I follow my rules today? Were my entry, exit, and management professional? This is the real difference in mindset. Brett says, your P&L tells you the result. Your process tells you the truth. And when you only look at results, you ignore the truths that can change you. Now ask yourself, how many times have you made a profit by breaking the rules and then thought, see, I did the right thing. But that one doesn't teach you. It misleads you. And then one day the same mistake turns into a big loss. Therefore, the most powerful aspect of this principle is, love the process, because that is your backbone. A good trader still smiles when there's a loss, if they have followed the rules, because they know if their process remains strong, a loss is just a number, an opportunity to learn. Brett, working with professional traders for years, noted one thing. The best traders are performance artists. They don't play for applause. They play for execution. This means they are immersed in their performance. Profit comes like applause, but true satisfaction comes from execution. This is why trading is called an art. Every day you are creating a new painting with the brush of your mindset, discipline, and routine. If your art is based only on profit, your focus will waver. But if that art is based on process, you will move forward every day, no matter the result. So next time you sit down to trade, don't ask yourself, how much money will I make today? Instead ask, will I be able to act like a professional today? Will I be able to stick to my rules today? And if yes, then whether the trade wins or loses, you are a winner in every situation, because you were loyal to the system, and that loyalty will ultimately bring millions into your account. Remember, the market changes, but the process should remain stable. The process can save you from a storm that drowns others. And now, if you have understood this principle from your heart, you have entered a new stage from which people do not go back, but only climb higher. But now it's time for the third principle, which will bring you face to face with trading's biggest enemy. That enemy is not visible on the screen but secretly controls every decision, and its name is fear. In Principle 3, we will learn not to destroy fear but to understand it. Because until you learn to read fear, it will defeat you every time. But not anymore. The next chapter reveals your most hidden power. So stay tuned, because the war is not with the market, it's with what lies within. So friends, we've now arrived at the third principle of the art of trading, and believe me, if you truly feel this one principle, you might be able to escape the trap in which thousands of trading accounts are still entangled. Principle 3 states, don't run from fear, read it. Brett Steenbarger says, fear is not your enemy, it's your feedback. And that's the truth. Fear is an alarm, but not an enemy. But what's our biggest mistake? As soon as we feel fear, we look away from it. Fear said, don't take this trade. We heard, you are weak. Fear said, something doesn't feel right. We believed, I don't have the courage. But friends, the language of fear is not scary, it's profound. Brett said, every emotional reaction is a message from your brain. Fear often highlights risks you haven't prepared for. Now think, just because fear is coming doesn't mean you're wrong. Instead, it's necessary to ask, did I create this trading plan with full clarity? Am I carrying the baggage of a past loss? Is my position size too large? Fear never lies, we just misunderstand its meaning. And this is where a new trader and a true trader diverge. The new trader suppresses fear, turns up the volume, closes their eyes, and then takes the trade. The true trader writes that fear in a diary, asks for its reason, and then prepares, so that next time, that fear becomes advice, not an obstacle. Brett says, if you can learn the pattern of your fears, you can program your preparation. And this is the real game. In the market, you don't kill fear, you manage it. Now ask yourself, have you ever taken a wrong trade because you were afraid of missing out on an opportunity? FOMO, or fear of missing out. This isn't fear, it's an addiction to validation, to comparing oneself to others. And when this fear starts making decisions, it's not trading, it's gambling. Brett's studies say that emotional hijack happens when fear or greed dominates your prefrontal cortex. In that state, logic takes the back seat. This means when fear overwhelms you, your most important power, your ability to think, takes a back seat. And this is the moment when we break the system, throw away the strategy, and open the doors to losses. Therefore, Principle 3 says, make fear a dialogue, not a dictator. You don't run from fear. You sit down and talk to it. Ask it why it came. If it says, because you're not ready, then prepare. If it says, because last time you broke the rules, then stick to the rules now. Fear is not your enemy, it's your teacher. And if you understand fear, then you've made the market's biggest monster your friend. And one who befriends fear cannot be shaken by any greed or any loss. Brett has written, self-awareness transforms fear into foresight. This means if fear is recognized, it doesn't bring us down, it saves us. So next time fear comes, question it. Is this fear coming from within me or from some external noise? Am I afraid of a loss or of my reputation? When you get the answer, clarity will come, and clarity is the light that separates a trader from the crowd. And now, if you have truly internalized this principle today, then in the next loss, fear will not be your enemy. It will be your signal. And this is the difference between a panicked trader and a calmly winning master. But now, the fourth principle that's coming goes beyond fear, because it will talk about your teacher, whom everyone calls loss. This principle will show that loss is not a punishment, it's a lesson worth millions. Principle 4 will change your very definition of losing, of the market, and of yourself. So stay tuned, because now we are not going to kneel, we are going to learn the art of winning from losses. So friends, now let's talk about the word that every trader fears, that every trader runs from, and that every trader eventually confronts: loss. But Brett Steenbarger says, a loss is only a failure when nothing is learned from it. This means a loss is never a true defeat. The real defeat occurs when you haven't learned anything from that loss. Now think, has it ever happened that you started blaming yourself as soon as you incurred a loss? I'm stupid. I can never be a good trader. Or, the market itself is wrong. The system isn't working. But wait a minute. Did you read the story behind that loss? Was your entry correct? Did you plan your stop loss? Did you overtrade without thinking? See, there are two kinds of losses. Educated loss, where you lose even while following the system. Emotional loss, where you broke rules out of anger, fear, or greed. Brett says, good losses are tuition fees of trading. Bad losses are interest on ego. This means a good loss teaches you something. But a bad loss is just the interest on your ego. Now, imagine if after every loss, you sat down and wrote 5 points about what went right and what went wrong. Then after 30 days, you would have a manual that no course, no YouTube channel could probably give you. Brett Steenbarger revealed in a research that top traders journal their losses more religiously than their wins. Why? Because they know profit is just a number. but loss is a teacher. If you are willing to learn, every loss shows your inner weakness and gives you an opportunity to upgrade yourself. But if you are filled with ego, every loss will eat away at your confidence. This is where the real turning point comes, because loss doesn't come to break you, it comes to refine you. Brett says, if you can embrace loss as a necessary companion, you can disarm its emotional impact. This means if you stop considering loss an enemy, its fear will also disappear from you. Now imagine what would happen if next time you incur a loss, you smile and say, "Thank you, now I will become even better." Believe me, from that day on, your trading growth will multiply tenfold because now you are not afraid of losing, you learn from losing. And this is the pro trader mindset. When a big trader incurs a loss, they don't rush to change the system. They scan their mind. Was I tired? Was my focus correct? Was I under the influence of any external stress? Because Brett says, your trading performance is not separate from your life performance. The kind of person you are, that's the kind of trader you are. Therefore, loss is not just the market story, it's your story too. And if you honestly keep writing a diary of your losses, that diary will one day become a success manual. And now, if you have understood this principle, you will not only be able to endure losses but also learn from them and turn every loss into fuel. But now, the fifth principle that is coming is connected to that state of trading that most people leave when they are very close to their goal. Principle 5 tells us that consistency is the real profit. Because the market rewards you millions not for your big trades, but for your correct daily decisions. So get ready, because the next principle is going to directly hit your discipline muscle. And this is the muscle that most people underestimate in the race of trading. So friends, let's talk about that secret which, if you grasp it, all other principles will automatically start working. Principle 5 says, consistency is the real profit. Sounds so simple, doesn't it? Work well every day, and that's it. But Brett Steenbarger says, consistency is not about doing the same thing. It's about thinking the same way under all conditions. This means consistency isn't just about trading every day, but about keeping your mindset and process stable in every situation. Imagine when the market is in turmoil, everyone on Twitter is saying something different, gold is surging in one place, and the banking sector is falling in another. In such a situation, will you be able to remain calm? Will you be able to hold on to your setup, your rules, your regulations, and trade? If yes, then you are consistent, and if not, then today's principle can change your life. Brett believes that consistency is not a gift, it's a habit, and habits are built in silence, not in hype. This means profit comes not just from strategy but from your habits. Now think, do you review every trade after it's done? Do you have a morning preparation routine? Do you approach trading every day with the same mindset, or do you bring new fears and greed each time? Consistency means the same mind, the same preparation, the same commitment every day, and it is this habit that transforms an average trader into an elite trader. Steenbarger writes somewhere, your best trading comes from your best routines, not from your best guesses. And that's true. Confusion arises where there's no routine. But when you know what time you trade, on which setup, at what point you exit, and what percentage of risk you take, then consistency generates itself. And remember, the market will not give you profit every day. But if you walk with consistency every day, the result at the end of the month will eliminate all your doubts. Brett says, the most profitable traders are not those who make the biggest trades, but those who make the same best trades again and again. This means those who repeatedly do the right thing are the ones who compound their profits. And this is where 90% of traders give up. Why? Because consistency seems boring. Looking at charts every day, following the same setups every day, filling the logbook every day, it doesn't have the excitement of a new trade. But friends, when you do this boring work every day, the market starts giving you exciting profits. Brett Steenbarger has a powerful quote. Repetition builds confidence, confidence builds discipline, and discipline builds wealth. This means, friends, consistency leads to trust, trust leads to discipline, and discipline leads to real money. Now, imagine what would happen if you just stuck to one strategy and followed it consistently every day, without wavering. 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, think what you would have gained. You didn't just earn, you mastered yourself. And this is the trader whom the market itself rewards. But wait, the sixth principle that is coming is going to bridge the biggest gap between your mind and the market. Because now it's time for that inner dialogue that you have with yourself before every trade. Sometimes in doubt, sometimes in anger, sometimes in hope. Principle 6 is, self-talk is self-trading. This means how you trade externally completely depends on what you are saying to yourself internally. And the next chapter is going to unlock the real password to this mind game. Join in because now we are going to delve into the true depths of self-talk. So friends, until now we've learned how to embrace losses and how to conquer the market with consistency. But now it's time for that invisible force that can't be seen on a chart or measured by any indicator, yet it rules every one of your trades, and that is your own self-talk. Brett Steenbarger says, "We don't trade the markets. We trade our beliefs, emotions, and perceptions about the markets." This means we are not trading the market, we are trading our mindset. Now think, what do you tell yourself before a trade? This time I'll make big money. Hope this breakout is right. I lost last time, everything's on the line this time. If this is your self-talk, then forgive me. You are still trading emotions, not the market. Brett writes, "Self-awareness is the foundation of self-control. This means until you know what you are saying to yourself, you cannot control your actions." And it's true. Have you ever noticed? When you overtrade or take a revenge trade, it's not just greed behind it. There's a dialogue. This time I have to recover. And it's this dialogue that leads you into the quagmire of losses. But imagine if your self-talk were something like this. I am following my system. Every trade is a new opportunity, not a past mistake. If this is a loss, it will be a lesson, not fear. Now your mind will be calm. Now you are becoming what the market wants, a calm, aware decision maker. Brett Steenbarger says, "You cannot control markets. You can only control your preparation, your process, and your psychology. And the root of psychology is self-talk. If every morning before trading you tell yourself, 'Today I am in control. I will trade by the setup, not by feeling. I will win with discipline, not with prediction,' then your mind will be stable. Neither fear will shake you nor greed will make you waver." In one research, Brett revealed that top traders literally train their internal dialogue like athletes train muscles. This means just as an athlete trains every day, a trader needs to tune their mind every day, and that training is positive, rational, process-based self-talk. If after every loss you can tell yourself, "This loss is temporary, my discipline is permanent," then believe me, you are on the path to becoming a true professional trader, because the real mindset is one that questions itself, finds answers, and makes itself better in the next trade. Now ask yourself, is your self-talk pulling you up or slowly breaking you from the inside? Because the day you make your inner voice clear and powerful, that day you will never be afraid of external noise. And that will be the day when every one of your trades will be with a purpose, a plan, and a peace. And friends, Principle 6 doesn't end here. It lays the foundation for the upcoming principle, because Principle 7 is that habit that saves the accounts of the biggest traders and makes small traders big. Principle 7, risk management, is not a strategy, it's a survival code. And this is the code that if you don't know, trading will become gambling for you. That's why next time we will uncover the secret of that discipline with which you can contain losses and sustain wins. So friends, today we are going to talk about that principle which sounds very straightforward, but ignoring it has turned millions of traders into zeros, and that is risk management. But Brett Steenbarger explains it to us from a new perspective. He says, risk management is not about protecting money. It's about protecting mindset. This means it's not just about money, it's about safeguarding your mind. Because when you suffer a big loss, it's not just your account that breaks. Your trust, your confidence, your clarity also shatter. Brett clearly states, great traders don't survive because they make big gains. They survive because they don't make big losses. This means risk management equals survival management. Now, imagine you take 3 trading setups in a day. 2 result in profit, 1 in loss. But you took an excessive quantity in that loss-making trade. The result, all your day's earnings are wiped out. So, the fault wasn't the markets. The fault was not defining your risk limit. Brett says, every trade should be sized in a way that a loss won't hurt your mindset. This means your risk should be such that even if it results in a loss, your psychology for the next trade doesn't falter. Now ask yourself a question here. Do I define risk, or do I just trade on hope? If you've never thought before entering a trade where your stop loss will be, what percentage the risk is, or how much loss you can emotionally absorb, then you are still a hope trader and not a professional. Brett Steenbarger has a powerful rule. Trade small, trade smart, and last long enough to learn how to win. This means in the initial days, try to survive, not to win. Because the market teaches, but to hear it, you first need to stay alive. This is why some traders earn a little every month but stay in the game, and some lose everything within a week. The difference: risk management. Now you need to remember 3 golden rules. Rule number 1. Take a small risk in a trade. Risk only 1 or 2% of your total capital. Never more than that. Rule number 2. Think in advance where you will exit. Before entering a trade, decide where your stop loss will be. That is, first think about where to cut your losses if a mistake occurs, and only then enter. Rule number 3. Profit should always be greater than loss. In every trade, try to gain at least 2 or 3 rupees if you are risking 1 rupee. That is, a 1-to-2 or 1-to-3 risk-reward ratio. Brett says, you don't need to be right all the time. You just need to lose less when you are wrong and win more when you are right. This means the game is not about accuracy, but about balance. Now, let's talk about that emotional trap, recovery trading. This means you incurred a loss, and now you double your quantity and jump into the next trade, thinking, now I have to make it back. But this is the point where risk management dies, and gambling begins. Brett calls this psychological distraction. He says, managing risk is not about fear. It's about maintaining a steady state of mind so you can keep trading intelligently. This means risk management doesn't mean you are a coward. Instead, it means you are planning to stay in the game for a long time, and the player who stays on the field for longer wins, even if the batting is slow, as long as no wickets fall. The same is true in trading. Big money is made when you compound, and compounding only happens when losses are under control. Therefore, friends, don't consider risk management a strategy. Consider it the protection of your life. Brett Steenbarger says, if you want to be in this business 10 years from now, you must fall in love with managing risk. And this is the final line that will take you from an average trader to an elite trader. But remember, Principle 7 alone cannot do anything if you don't have the patience that is coming in the next principle. Principle 8, patience equals hidden profit. Because the market rewards you not as much for your action as it does for your waiting. Next time, we will learn the power of that waiting that makes 1 in a million traders a millionaire winner. So friends, you've probably heard that. Success in trading is 90% waiting and 10% action. But in reality, this isn't just a saying, it's the truth. And Brett Steenbarger repeatedly emphasizes this. The best traders are not those who do more, but those who wait more and act precisely. Think the market moves every day, but does a trend form every day? No. Is every breakout correct? No. But we still want to take action every day. Why? Because we lack patience. Brett writes, impatience is the tax traders pay for overconfidence. This means the more eager you are, the more the market taxes you in the form of losses. Now listen carefully. When there is no trend, when there is no clear setup, when your mind is restless, trading means inviting loss. Brett says, some of the most profitable trades are the ones you don't take. Think how many times you've taken a strange trade due to FOMO, and then regretted it. Now ask yourself, is there quality in my watch list or just quantity? Can I sit calmly before taking a trade? Can I wait until the market calls me? These questions explain the power of patience to you. Brett Steenbarger describes a psychological pattern which he calls anticipatory anxiety. This means we think that if we miss a good trade, we've missed something big. And in this fear, we end up trading without a setup, without a system, purely based on emotion. But Brett says, markets reward discipline, not desperation. If you've asked yourself just these 3 questions before every entry, is this trade according to my system? Am I completely calm and balanced? Will I let it go if it doesn't look confident? Then you start becoming a different trader. Brett says, patience is not passive, it's powerful restraint. This means patience doesn't mean sitting idly. It means being prepared, but only going to war when the time is right. Remember, every big trader, whether it's Mark Minervini, Paul Tudor Jones, or Brett Steenbarger, has said one thing. We wait for the pitch we can hit hard and ignore the rest. The market offers opportunities every day, but only a few of them are gold mines. If you can't be patient, you will get tired or lose money before those real opportunities arise. And this is where the real lesson comes. Patience is not just for profit. Patience preserves your mental energy. Because if your mind is constantly racing in trading, fatigue will make you make mistakes. And this is what Brett explains. Patience builds clarity. Clarity leads to precision. Precision creates profit. A professional trader knows that sometimes just one high-quality trade in a week is enough, and that quality comes from waiting. Therefore, remember Brett's powerful mantra. Trade when you have edge. Wait when you have doubt. Now, think what would happen if you just adopted this principle. How many losses could you avoid? And those avoided losses are your hidden profits. Because earning money isn't the only profit. Saving money is also a profit, and the hidden hero who brings that profit is patience. But friends, patience doesn't work alone. It needs one more thing, and that is a journal. The next principle opens that door from which your growth can be mapped. Because if you're not recording, you're repeating the same old mistakes. So friends, you must have made many trades. Sometimes profit, sometimes loss. But now ask yourself a question. Do I truly know why I lose or win? If the answer is no, then you are walking in a jungle without a map. Brett Steenbarger says, the journal is not a diary, it's a mirror. This means a journal is a mirror that shows you what you were hiding from yourself. Your habits, your mistakes, your mindset, and your edge. Everything comes to the surface on that page if you write honestly. Brett clearly states, if you are not journaling your trading, you are not growing, you are just gambling with more input. Now listen, journaling is not just about writing that you bought, sold, profited, or lost. Brett suggests a structured method, and that is the 3-part journal method. Part 1, observation. What trade did you take? Why did you take it? What was the plan? What happened? Part 2, emotion. How did you feel at that moment? Was there fear, greed, or haste? Were you calm or angry? Part 3, reflection. What did you do right? What was the mistake? Will it happen again? What improvements can you make? Brett says, growth in trading is not from reading more books but from reviewing your own behavior. This means all the knowledge is within you. You just need to tune it. Now, imagine when you look at your journal every week, you will start seeing these patterns. When you are repeatedly entering early, at what time you overtrade, which setups are working for you, and which emotions are causing losses. This data is the real teacher. Brett calls it your personal trading algorithm. This means every trader has to code themselves, and that coding happens through journaling. Now, a true fact, many traders don't keep a journal because they are afraid. They will have to confront themselves. But Brett says, the most successful traders are the most self-aware. And self-awareness comes from observation plus documentation. That is, write, think, repeat, and become 1% better every week. Brett writes a powerful line. Your trading journal is your blueprint to wealth. Now the question is, are you creating your blueprint for success, or are you still just looking at charts and ignoring your own psychology? Remember, risk management protects you. Patience gives you opportunity. But journaling makes you a professional. Because no one who analyzes themselves daily can be stopped. And now that you are journaling, you are ready for the next principle, which is perhaps the least talked about but makes the biggest difference. That is self-mastery. So friends, we've now reached the door where real trading begins. You might have thought that trading starts with charts, or money, or some new strategy. But no, actual trading begins where a person starts to look within themselves. This final principle reminds us that we are not trading the market. We are actually trading ourselves. Brett Steenbarger says, "Markets don't defeat traders. Traders defeat themselves." And when I hear this line, it gives me goosebumps. Because this line isn't just true, it's a mirror. A mirror that shows us what we often run from, our own psychology, our own emotions, our own decisions. Many people trade day and night, change systems, change time frames, change brokers, but they never change themselves. They don't understand that until a person conquers themselves, they cannot win in any market. Self-mastery, this word, as simple as it sounds, is equally profound. This is where you begin to see trading not as a game, but as a discipline. Where you don't blame the market for your losses but question yourself. Was I greedy? Was I in a hurry? Could I not control my emotions? And when you stop running from these questions, the real journey begins. Brett says, "The best traders are not the smartest, they are the most self-aware." Now think, every time you lost, was that loss due to a strategy or due to your haste, fear, or overconfidence? Until you learn to examine yourself, you will always need a new excuse. The market was wrong, news came out, brokerage was slow. But Brett says these are all excuses, and one who makes excuses never becomes a professional. A professional trader is one who, after a loss, asks themselves, "What did I learn?" And who, even after a profit, doesn't become arrogant but sees if it was just luck. Self-mastery means you make yourself a little better every day. Trading isn't just about money, it's a test of character, because here there's no boss, no timer, no target. It's just you and your thoughts. And that's what makes this game the most difficult and also the most beautiful. Brett writes, "Self-mastery isn't the end of trading, it's the beginning of real mastery." And when you start walking on this path, every loss doesn't bring you down, it refines you. Every day you make better decisions, you think after every trade, and every week you make yourself a little stronger. That's why they say, the person who conquers themselves is also defeated by the market. So don't think you've only learned 10 things. You've learned the mindset that makes a trader go from ordinary to extraordinary. And if you've listened with your heart, now you know how to trade not just the market, but yourself. Because the biggest win in trading isn't money, it's winning over yourself, self-mastery. So friends, these were the secret principles of the art of trading, which, if you adopt them correctly, trading will become not just a skill for you, but a responsibility. A responsibility to make yourself better every day. Remember, the path to winning in trading doesn't go through charts, it goes through your mindset. If you have taken these principles seriously, you will not only gain profit but also the mindset, patience, discipline, and self-confidence of a pro trader. For every person who thinks, "I want to do something big," these principles are not just a video, but a guide. And if this video made you feel something, taught you something, stirred something within you, then please do one thing, like this video. Share it with your friends who are serious about trading. And comment below which principle touched your heart the most. And yes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more powerful and real trading mindset content. Because in the next video, we will bring you things that hardly any trader in today's world honestly tells you. See you in the next video, where together we will become a smarter, sharper, and stronger trader. Till then, trade with discipline, live with purpose. Thanks for watching.